Welcome to Beachside Bay, a lovely seaside town where you've got sand between your toes, sun on your brow, a barrel, some duct tape, an oxygen tank, and a dream to go to the bottom of the ocean in this bargain basement bathysphere, which is the name of the game we're playing today on the Table for One. Welcome to Table for One. My name is Paula, and today we are playing Bargain Basement Bathysphere, designed by Scott Slomiani and published by WizKids, who are helping to sponsor this episode. Now, normally this is the part in the video where I tell you that if you want to know the nitty-gritty on all the rules, make sure to go check out Rodney's How to Play video and then come back here. But oh no, not today. Today, I'm the one teaching you this game, but I am going to do it while we play. So buckle up, pay attention. We'll get to the bottom of this ocean together. Bargain Basement Bathysphere is a solo roll and write campaign that consists of 20 different scenarios. Today, we are going to start off with scenario 3 and go into scenario 4. We're skipping ahead from scenarios 1 and 2 because those are very basic tutorials, and I'm going to cover all that information in the games we're playing today. And 3 and 4 introduce some really interesting mechanisms to the game that I want to be able to show you. So yes, there's some tiny little spoilers for the campaign in this video, but nothing too major. There's going to be a ton of surprises left for you to discover along the way. With that being said, let's load up our oxygen tank, put on some flippers, and see how many points we can get from the bottom of this ocean. Wish me luck. Okay, here we are in Discovery Cove. Now this is the map we're going to use in scenario 3, but the game comes with these two other maps as well, the Trench and Rescue Party. And we're going to get to play with these during the game as well. Every scenario takes you on a different map and takes you possibly down different paths on that map. So the first thing we need to do is go to the scenario in the game rules and make sure our map is properly set up. So we're going to mark off some symbols on the map. The first thing is we mark off 5 of these reroll symbols. We will only have access during the game to 2 rerolls. You can see that here, and we'll mark these off as we use them. Now, we also don't have access to these extra oxygen tanks yet, so we'll mark those off as well. The next thing we're going to do is mark our path here. You can see we're going to be traveling just along this path and ignoring these other parts of the map during this scenario. So I'm just going to quickly mark all of that on the map so that we know which path to follow while we're playing. We are not going anywhere in this center. We're just going through this path here. So our goal in this scenario is to score 30 points or more. Now, how are we going to get those points? There's a few different ways. One of the ways we can do that is by landing on salvage spaces and picking up salvage that we bring back with us to score points. I'll go into more detail about how that works when we land on one of those spaces. We also have divers. Divers are always getting lost at Beachside Bay under the water. It's a problem, and you're gonna have to go down and rescue some of these divers. So we have diver 3 here, and we also have diver 1. If we're able to rescue them, we will get points. In this scenario, they are worth 5 points each. We will also be collecting different fish. They're not all fish, look. There's crabs here. I don't think crabs count as fish. We'll be collecting different sea life, seafood items. Well, you don't want to eat all of them. Look, we're collecting different aquatic life. We're going to be marking off these different creatures if we land on them as we're traveling around. We will score according to unbroken chains of marked off creatures. So for example, let's say I have marked off 2 fish and 1 crab here. Well, this fish is worth 2 points. This fish is worth 4 points. That's 6 points I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna score for this crab because he's not actually connected to these other fish. If I had also seen these 2 fish, now I could score for all of them. And there are 3 different tracks you can start working your way up, but you have to work your way up the line to score those points. So now let's set up our divers. We need to know where they are on our track here. So the way we're going to do that is we're gonna roll dice for each of these spots. We have 6 spots for divers. Now, there are only 2 who exist in this scenario, but we're gonna roll and just start writing in the numbers. Okay, so diver number 3 is there. Diver number 5 is here on our track. Diver number 1 is here. Diver number 3, we've already rolled, so we roll again. Diver number 4 is here. Diver number 6 is here, and that means diver number 2 is here on our track. Now again, we only have 3 and 1 in this scenario, so we are going to erase all the other divers because we don't need to pay attention to them. They don't exist. As we're going along in the game, different things are going to be making us mark off oxygen on our oxygen track. If we're able to rescue a diver before the corresponding level of oxygen is marked off, then they live. But if we get to them and this level of oxygen has already been marked off, that means they ran out of O2. They didn't make it. So we aren't going to score points for saving them because we did not save them. We have other tracks here. Sometimes we might take a damage. As we move down the damage track, our dice pool is going to get smaller. You can see here by the numbers. 5, 5, 4, 4. As you get down here, now we're only rolling 3 dice. We're only rolling 2 dice. We're only rolling 1 die. Yee, that's not great. We also have stress that we're marking off on our track here. As we move down the track, it might cause us to take a damage and mark off something on the damage track. There's a lot to mitigate here and balance on these damage tracks. If we ever mark all the way down to the bottom of any one of these tracks, you can see here it says game over. We lose. You can't survive if you have no oxygen. You can't survive if your ship is fully damaged. You can't survive if you're too stressed out. Believe me, I know. Okay, that's great, Paula, you say, but how the heck do you actually play? What are the dice for? What's going on with this track? I'm going to explain all of that to you right now. So in this scenario, we start with 5 dice in our dice pool. And you know that because it says so right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 3 dice go away. So on our turn, we start by rolling these dice. All right, we've got, oh boy, a whole bunch of 4s, a 5, and a 6. Now these dice are the distance we can travel down the track. So we're going to pick one and move the number of spaces that correspond with the number of pips on the dice. And then that die gets set aside and we're left with now these 4 dice in our dice pool. So let's see here. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. This is great. Let's start with 4. So we're going to spend this 4 die. I'm just going to set it out here. And we're going to move a 4 down this track. Here we are in our little bathysphere. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. We end up here. Now we need to mark spaces that we land on. This is a gray space with a stress on it. See, we would need to take 1 stress. But because we landed on that space, we don't have to activate that stress point. We can just mark it off. We don't even have to worry about that. Oh yeah, but we did pass over this gray space with some hazards on it. We have to activate one of these hazards. So we can either lose 1 oxygen, that's this symbol, or we can take 1 stress, that's this symbol. I'm going to choose to take a stress. So I'm going to mark that off right here. I'm going to mark that off here. Now here's the thing. If we ever land on a space that we've already marked off, we have to take stress. So to survive this game, we need to come all the way down, but then we have to come back up to this starting space to actually survive. So on our way back, if we were to land on this space, we'd be in trouble. We'd need to mark off stress on our track. Okay, so now what do we have left here? We've got 2 4s, a 5, and a 6. If we do 6, we land here, but we take all these spaces in between. So that would be 3 stress and either 1 oxygen loss or 1 damage if we pass over all of those spaces. That's kind of rough. Where are we trying to go? We want to try and rescue divers. Now, it's going to be very difficult to rescue diver number 3 because he's so high up on our oxygen track. So I sort of wonder, maybe we don't even try to get him. But we should try to collect some marine life here. We could come along this way, try and get this diver, then make our way back around and up again. I think that might be the thing to do. So we want to come around this way, try to rescue this diver, and then we'll loop back around trying to collect marine wildlife. So I don't want to pass over all of these spaces, though we may not be able to avoid it. We have a lot of high numbers that we've rolled, which is good because we can move farther, but it's kind of bad because we take a bunch of damage from it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we avoid this, and we take these because we'll be landing on this, which means we don't activate the space. I think that's the thing to do. So we're gonna move 4 again. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. We mark this off, it does not activate, but we do activate this and this. So we take 1 stress. I'm gonna take off this eraser cap, it keeps falling off. And then we choose, again, we can lose an oxygen or take a damage. I'm gonna take a damage because I don't, well, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say I don't wanna lose the oxygen because number 3 is so close to the top here. But if I'm not caring about that, then I should just lose the oxygen. You know what, we actually might be able to get to diver number 3. I'm totally changing what I just said we were gonna do in this game. We're gonna try and get to diver number 3. Here's the thing that I haven't let you in on yet. When we run out of dice in our dice pool, we have to re-roll them all again. Now we can choose to do this anytime. On your turn, you can either activate a die or re-roll everything. Now, you wanna be careful about doing that because every time you re-roll, you mark off oxygen on your oxygen track here. So that's why I'm thinking, will I be able to get to this diver in time? Because this is just, we can only mark off 1 oxygen before we get to him. But because we've rolled these high numbers, we might be able to get to him kind of quickly. And I think it's worth giving it a shot. I changed my mind from before, I'm allowed to do that. So instead of taking the oxygen here, we're going to take the bathysphere damage. Now we do need to be careful because once we get to here, we're only allowed to roll 4 dice instead of 5, and that is a bit rough. So I think I'm now going to use our 6 die, and we're gonna come down here. 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, if we do 4 though, ooh, hold up. No, we're gonna do 4 because then we can land on this fish and collect some wildlife. I'm gonna show you how that works. So we're gonna activate the 4. We've done all 3 4s in a row. 1, 2. We get to choose at this intersection. Do we wanna go this way or this way? We're going this way. You can never backtrack. Once you've started moving, you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is not allowed. You can't do it. And if you run into a dead end, like down here, and you have movement left, you take stress for every point of movement you have left. So you want to be really careful planning how you move and what direction you move in. So let's see, we went 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to mark off this fish, and we're going to select this fish on our track. That means we're gonna earn 2 points at the end of the game. That is 28 more to go for our goal. Now we do, again, we have to take one of these hazard activations and we're gonna do the stress because we're trying to save our oxygen. So now 5 or 6, can we get this squid? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can. Oh, this is great. So I'm gonna use my 5 die and come down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get this squid. So we mark off this one, 3 points because we've started on that track now. Yes. But look at this, we passed 1 stress, 2 stress. That's 3 total stress we have to mark off. Oh no, 1, 2, 3. 1 more stress and we have to take a damage. It's immediate. This is very dangerous what we're doing. And this job, look, being in a bargain basement bathysphere, it's not for the faint of heart. But luckily, we are not faint of heart. We've got, what's the opposite of faint of heart? We've got a real loud heart. Like it's loud, it's not faint, you hear it real good. So now all we have left is this 6 die. I don't know if we can get this jellyfish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we cannot. 6, we'll land here, but because we're landing on this space, we don't have to activate it, which is gonna save us a damage mark. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take that out of our die pool. We mark that off. We don't get to collect this jellyfish because we did not land on it. Oh no. No, we're about to re-roll, so I cannot take this oxygen damage because that will totally defeat the purpose of coming down here to try and get diver number 3. So we're gonna take the stress, which means, you can see from this symbol here, we have to take a damage. 1 more damage and we're down to 4 dice in our dice pool. Now we re-roll everything in our dice pool, and to do that, we have to mark off oxygen on our oxygen track. We have to do this very quickly or diver number 3 is not gonna survive. And then we aren't gonna get the 5 points, which is really the part I care about the most. Does that make me a bad person? Okay, so we've got 2 5s, 2 3s, and a 1. Oh, let's use the 1 and pick up this other fish. We land on this fish right here, which means we get to mark off another fish. That is 4 more points for us. Okay, how many spaces away from the diver are we? Now, remember, we have to land exactly on this diver. We can go past him and come back, but we have to land directly on them. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces away. That's not very good with our die configuration here because we can either do 2 moves of 6, 2 moves of 10, 2 moves of 8. Okay. What happens if we go 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We get to the end, and then 1, 2, 3, we'll get to the diver. Okay, I think we can make this work. So in order to do this, we need to first do a 5 die. So we're setting that one out of our active pool. We're gonna move 1. Again, we're choosing where we're going on this intersection. We're going here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is brilliant. We don't have to take this stress. I've suddenly have started marking my spaces in a different way because I am just emotionally stressed. Because we've landed on the space, we don't have to take that stress. Now we go 5. 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn around. Now, unfortunately, we do take 1 stress for here, 2 stress for here. 1, 2, 3. We are 1 stress away from losing a die out of our die pool. But now I'm going to activate this 3 die and we're gonna land right on this diver. 1, 2, 3. Ha ha ha! I've decided to lay down my bathysphere so you can see it better. So I'm just changing things up all over the place in this playthrough. I'm doing X's, I'm doing scribbles, I'm standing the bathysphere up, I'm laying it down, I'm keeping you on your toes. So now we get to say we got diver number 3, and that, according to our scenario rules, was worth 5 points. So I'm actually gonna change how this is written. I'm gonna put the 3 here, I'm gonna put the 5 right there. We did it. And then our last die is a 3, which means we can bounce right over these already marked spaces, land on a blank space, nothing bad happens to us. We re-roll the dice, and we mark off an oxygen, saved in the nick of time. I'm sorry I doubted us. We could have let that diver just drown because I didn't think we could get there in time. I didn't believe in us, and shame on me. Okay. Oh, this is a lot of 1s. Okay. 6, 4, and 3 1s here. I think the thing to do is to come the long way around here to try and get up to this diver. We only have 1, 2, 3 oxygens we can mark off before they perish as well. This is gonna give us a chance to possibly salvage some wreckage here, maybe land on the ocean floor for points, pick up more fish. This space we are ignoring because we haven't learned yet what it means. See, I told you there were still plenty of surprises in store for you in this game. Well, if we use our 4, we'll land right on this fish, which will give us 6 more points, and I like that a lot. So we're gonna start with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go over a bunch of blank spaces. We don't have anything bad to activate. We mark off this fish. That is 6 more points. We've got 3 1s and a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not very good for getting on this salvage. And part of me thinks maybe I should use a reroll, or I might just re-roll my dice pool before I've used them all to try and land on this salvage. Or I could skip that salvage and try and go for that salvage, but it would be good to be able to get this salvage. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use 1, and I'm just gonna move forward 1. I'm gonna use another 1, I'm gonna move forward 1. And then I'm going to prematurely re-roll my dice pool. I'm hoping for a 3. And I'm gonna mark off oxygen to do it. I'm gonna re-roll everything. Is this the best strategy choice? I don't know. We're gonna find out. I need a 2 and a 1 or a 3. Oh, ask and ye shall receive. I got 3 3s. Nice. Oh boy, but I'm gonna take some, there are consequences to this choice. So I'm gonna spend this 3. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3 right here to this salvage. But I do have to take 2 points of stress. And look, this one means I take a damage. So next time I reset my die pool, I can't have any more than 4 dice. So we might as well just go on and take this one out of the game completely because I'm not gonna re-roll that one ever again. Now here's another thing. So here's how salvage works. I can now choose any amount of dice I want from my active pool So the ones I still have that I haven't already spent, and spend them, and the value on the dice is the value I get for that salvage. That's the number of points I'm going to score. I'm gonna spin the 5. I was just doing some calculating. I'm gonna use the 5. Now I could do the 5 and the 6 and get 11 points, but I don't think I need to do that. I think it's better at this point for me to hold on to the 6. So I'm gonna spin this 5, and that is the amount of salvage I got, 5 points of salvage. Now, I'm gonna spin this 3 because it's gonna take me right here to the ocean floor. 1, 2, 3. If you ever land on an ocean floor spot, you just score the number of points listed here. Now, this is only worth 1 point, but sometimes they're worth a lot. So I'm just going to circle that so I can remember at the end of the game, I get 1 point for that. Now I do, oh boy, take 2 stress and a damage because I passed over those spots. That's rough. Oh, I'm so far down these. I've been taking a lot of damage. A lot of hazards have been activated here, and that's not great. I'm gonna spin the 3 now so I can go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna land on this space, 1, 2, 3, so I don't have to activate that, but I do have to take this stress right here. Look how stressed. I'm really pushing my bathysphere to its limit here. Now for the 6. Now I saved this for here because I'm gonna pass up this fish, but I am gonna get another squid, which I think is gonna be worth it. So this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the squid. So we're gonna mark that off. But again, I pass this. I think I might take the oxygen damage at this point. That only leaves me 1 to get up to here though, which may not be enough. But if I take stress, I'm gonna have to mark off another damage, and I'm only gonna be rolling 3 dice. I think I have to do the oxygen. I just may not make it to this other diver. So we're gonna mark off the oxygen for passing this space here. Now, oh yeah, I won't make it to them. There's no way, because now I have to mark off another oxygen to re-roll all this dice. Diver number 1, I'm so sorry. I don't think we're gonna be able to save you. 2 6s, a 3, and a 1. Well, let's spin to the 1 so that we can land on this oxygen loss space and mark it off and not have to activate it. I think we'll do the 6. I'm gonna try and get up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we'll be so close. I don't think we're gonna be able to make it happen, but we're gonna be really close. But if I do 3 first, 1, 2, 3, I'll land here and I won't have to take that stress, so that's good. We're gonna do that. Now I have 2 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We land here, and unfortunately I take 1 stress, 2 stress, 3 stress. That's so bad. 1, 2, 3. I take another damage. Now when we re-roll our dice, we can only roll 3 of them. I need to remember to make use of my re-rolls. So here's what I think. I could spin this 6 and move up this path, but I'm gonna land right on this wreckage spot. But when I do, I won't have any dice left in my active pool, so I won't be able to score points for this salvage anyway. I'm not gonna be able to save the diver before we lose the oxygen and they perish. And I'm gonna walk over a whole bunch of hazards. I'm gonna take more damage. I'm going to be down to 2 dice. I'm gonna take stress. I don't think it's worth me to go up there. I'm not gonna get anything out of it. There are no points to be had there. I'm very sorry. We are going to abandon that diver. So instead, I'm gonna take this 6 and I'm gonna try and hurry my little diving butt up to try and get back to the surface of the water here so that we don't die. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. I'm gonna mark this space off. Now that means I have to take 1 stress for passing over this space, and either 2 stress or an oxygen. I'm gonna take the oxygen. And it is official, diver number 1 cannot be saved. And now we mark off another oxygen because we need to re-roll our dice pool. We just need to get out. I'd love to get this other squid, but really we just need to get to the surface. Aye, wild. Okay, you know what? I am gonna get this squid because I'm gonna spend 1 to go here, mark this off because I land on it. I don't have to activate it, so we're safe from that. 1 to land on the squid, so we get to mark them off. That's 10 more points. I feel good about our points. Now we're gonna go 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we're going 5 because 6, if we land here, that's a space we've already marked. We're gonna have to take stress for landing there, plus the stress we'd be passing over. So 5 to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We only need to take 1 stress for that one, which we mark. which does a damage. Oh no, we're only gonna be able to roll 2 dice to get out of here. So we now have a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we're so close. We're so close to being able to get out. I'm gonna mark this off for its oxygen because we're doing okay on oxygen. Now I need to re-roll my dice. That's 1 more oxygen. I can only roll 2 dice. Did I roll 4? Did I roll 4 when I should have only rolled 3 because I didn't take one of these away? Okay, self-punishment. I'm gonna take another damage because I messed that up, and that's my self-punishment. I can now only roll 1 die, and if this isn't enough to get me out, we don't survive. That's the punishment for when you mess up. Oh, it's a 5. That could have gone so bad. Is that fair? Just let me know in the comments if you think that was a fair way to deal with that, because I don't remember where we would have gone back, what we marked when. That's the punishment I took. So I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, we made it barely. We had to roll a 5 basically to get out. So we did it. We barely by the skin of our teeth survived Discovery Cove with 1 diver and a bunch of fish. So let's take a look at what we scored in this round. Because remember, we need 30 points. So let's go down here. We scored 5 points from this salvage. I'm just going to write this up here, 5. That's the only salvage we got. Oh, we got 1 point from this ocean floor. So then 1. We got 5 points from this diver, 5. And then we got 2, 4, this is 12 points here because that's 6 and 6 is 12. And then this is 10 and 6 is 16 and 3 is 19. Oh yeah, we crushed. Okay, so I'm gonna do quick math. We got 42 points. That is definitely more than 30. So let's find out what happens now that we've scored that many points. If you score 30 or more points, don't erase this map quite yet. Read up on the Aquaseum after this scenario. I'm going to tell you about the Aquaseum, which is the first mini game that happens in Bargain Basement Bathysphere. The game comes with this lovely pad of pages. I don't know what the ocean floor is yet, but there's all kinds of fun things on here. We're just going to pull this off. And now we get to mark on here an animal that we discovered. We're basically filling our aqua museum, our aquarium, with these animals that we've discovered. And when we've filled up an entire tank in here, we get the ability to get an extra reroll. That is one-time use. When you use it, you mark it off. But we're trying to earn those rerolls. So we have 1, 2, 3 fish to mark off and 3 squids to mark off on here. Now you don't have to do them all. I could do 3 fish here and 3 squid here. Maybe that's the way to go. Or 3 squid here, 2 fish here, and 1 fish somewhere else. Let's do this. 3 and 2. And then we'll do a 3rd one here where there's only a lone fish. So that is the progress we've made in this round at our Aquaseum. We'll also write here, this was scenario 3 and we got 42 points. 42. No one needs to know what I scored in the tutorial rounds. It's not important. It's just not important at all. It's time for scenario 4, and we're being sent out to the trench where a sea demon creature dwells, the murky one. And if we're not careful, its tentacles could rise up from the depths of the ocean and pull us down into the deep. So why are we even going? Well, the harbor master has sent us out to salvage the wreckage of the SS Edmund Fitztantrum, which she sent out and it got wrecked, and now she wants us to come back with some of its parts. And if we do, she's gonna use some of those parts to help us upgrade our bathysphere. Now, we don't know what that means yet, but it does sound promising. So to win this scenario, we need to come back with 2 salvaged ships. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got like 4 here to choose from. So we've got opportunity. Now there's some other things in this scenario that you haven't seen yet. Again, we've got the murky one. Now anytime we pass over a tentacle space without landing on it, we mark off a tentacle on this track. If we get to these ones on the track that have hazards, we have to activate those hazards on these tracks, just like they were hazard spaces on our map. So we have to be careful for that. We also have whirlpools, which you did not see in our previous scenario. When we have whirlpools, when we land on one of these spaces, we have to re-roll all of our active dice. And if any of the numbers match what numbers are shown on the space we landed on, we take 2 stress for each match. That's 2 stress. So if we match twice, if we match 3 times, that's 6 points of stress. That is bad news. We want to try and avoid those whirlpools. We of course have divers to rescue as well, because that's what life is here in Beachside Bay. We've got diver number 6 right down here, diver number 4 right over here, and I already set them on their tracks where they go. So we've got a little more wiggle room here than in our last scenario, but it could go downhill fast. I've also gone ahead and marked off our bonus oxygen tanks. We only get 2 re-rolls again, and I'm gonna use them this time. And I've drawn around our little map so you can see where we're allowed to travel this scenario. And with that being said, I think we roll the 4 dice. We only start with 4 dice in this pool this time. So let's go, let's see. See what we get. Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now I kind of think we use the 2 and immediately land on this hazard space, mark it off. We don't have to activate it. So 1, 2, right there. Oh, we have 3. I think we do 3 and we land on our tentacle space. 1, 2, 3. So we don't have to mark one off on our murky one track yet. Now we have a 4 and a 6. Ooh, how does that position us with the whirlpool? 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually very well. If we do 4, and then 6, we will get past that whirlpool. We are gonna take some other hazards along the way though, but I think that might be worth it for skipping over the whirlpool. So first we're gonna do our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 on this empty space. We activate 1 stress, 2 stress. So we'll mark those off here. And then we have a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, very handy. We land on the murky one. We don't have to mark off there. That worked out quite well, but we do have to choose oxygen or stress. I'm gonna choose the stress because we have more of it to activate and cross off than oxygen. So I'm just gonna prioritize that before we start marking off oxygen, especially because I would like to get these divers. So our rescue divers are worth 7 points each this time, so that's pretty good. So we're gonna mark off our first oxygen and roll these dice again. Wow, 3 2s and a 4. We could do the 4 and get right on that wreckage, but we're not gonna get a lot of points from it. And we're gonna take quite a bit of hazard activation going over those spaces. You know what we could do? We could spend 2 2s though to get to it. So I'll spend 1 2. This will mitigate some of it. I will end up 1 2 on this space right here, which means we don't have to activate it, but we do have to activate this one, and I'm gonna choose the stress again and mark off 2 stress. Now I'm gonna do the other 2 so that we can land on our salvage. I am, however, because we're passing over it, gonna have to activate this damage space, so we take a damage. So far, we don't have to lessen our dice pool yet though, so that's good. Let's be a bit wild. I think we dedicate both of these dice from our dice pool to our salvage here. So I think we take the 4 and the 2, we get 6 points of salvage, mark that off, and then we re-roll everything. I know we're playing a little fast and loose with our oxygen if we do that, but maybe we'll roll a 1 and not have to cross off anything on the murky one track. Oh, we did roll a 1. So I am gonna spin the 1 to mark off our murky one. We're avoiding his tentacles for now. And then I think I'll do 2 so that we end up right here. 1, 2. We do activate the stress, but by doing that, I can spend my other 2 to go 1, 2. We'll land on this space, and because we landed on it, we don't have to activate that one. So that keeps us from having to mark another damage for the moment. Oh, and then we'll spin the 3 and go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna lay this down again now that the map's opened up a little bit. And again, we're landing on this space. We don't have to activate it, so we save ourselves some stress. We do mark off some oxygen though. Diver number 4 might be in for a little bit of trouble this time around. How many spaces away from 6 are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we go for it. We're gonna take some hits in the process, but I think we spin this 5 and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Land on the diver. Now here's what happens. We can activate these also in any order, which I don't think I've said before, but first we have to mark off a tentacle on the murky one track. Then we mark off this stress and this stress. That's 3 total stress. 1, 2, 3. And this one means we have to take a damage. But we have saved diver number 6, which means we are going to get 7 points for that. So I'm going to rewrite this a little bit so that we can see it. 6 there with our 7 points. And then you know what? Let's spin this 1 to land right on this tentacle. We don't have to mark another one off on our murky 1 track. I'm a fan. And then I think the 3 to land right on this space. 1, 2, 3. Because we land on it, we don't have to activate it. Now we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't get this salvage with 6, so we're just gonna ignore it. We do need 2, but we've got one up here near 4, which is probably worth trying to get if we can. And if not, we can go for this one or this one on the way back down. So we're gonna go this way with our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And luckily we are passing over the whirlpool. That makes me happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do, of course, have to activate this hazard space we crossed over. 2 more stress. You can see right here, that means 1 more damage. We are now down to 4 maximum dice in our dice pool, but luckily we only started with 4, so we don't have to lose anything yet. So now it's time to re-roll our dice pool where we lose an oxygen. If we lose another oxygen, we will not make it to diver number 4. How many spaces away are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in this next roll, we need exactly 10. Now remember, I'm saying this for myself. We have 2 re-rolls we can use to help us. And that is just re-rolling a single die. Now this is exactly 10, so we might hold on to this because that's 7, 8, 9, 10. So these dice we can get right up to this diver before we have to roll again. I'm not gonna plan ahead too much. I'm gonna spin the 1 and I'm going to land on this space so that we don't have to activate it. And then I'm gonna spin the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we land on this space. We don't have to activate it. That's saving us some stress. Ooh, oh, this is so brilliant. And then 3, 1, 2, 3, we will land on the murky 1 tentacle, so we don't have to cross off a tentacle on our track, but we are, look, we did pass over this stress, so we'll activate that and mark it off on our track. And now 2, I'm so thrilled. 1, 2, we get to save our diver right before their oxygen ran out. And that is 7 points. I'm thrilled with that. I'm really happy. And now that oxygen goes away because we need to re-roll these dice. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spin this 3 and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. This is gonna be our 2nd salvage. And that means we've got what we need to be able to win the scenario. I do have to activate this hazard, so I'm losing oxygen. Now here's the thing. I need to decide what dice in my active pool I'm going to spend to earn points for this salvage. What is the value of this salvage? But these are really low numbered dice. So I'm going to use one of my rerolls. And I'm going to take this 1 and I'm going to re-roll it. Now I'm going to hope for a 6 to spend on this salvage. Come on, 6. I deserve that. I deserve that. All right, I'm going to spin these 2 to make it 3. It's barely worth it if we don't even get 3 points out of it. And then I spin this 2 to go, I'm on this space, 1, 2. So I don't land on a space I've already marked. I'm here. I don't have to take stress for that. We're in the clear there. But I am marking another oxygen to re-roll my dice pool. Should we get, I don't think unless we can just very perfectly get to these salvage spaces, I think we just try and make our way back up and out again because we are running out of oxygen quickly. I don't think we should mess around too much, but let's see how the dice roll. I'll keep rolling them out of my tray here. So a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are in order. This isn't terrible. The only one that is going to keep me from taking stress right now is this 2. So I'm going to spin that, go 1, 2. I'm on a space I haven't marked yet, so I will mark it off. And then I think the 3, because it's the same thing, it will get me to a space I haven't marked yet. 1, 2, 3. And again, if I land on a space that I've already marked, I take stress for that. I could get this salvage, but no, there's no point in getting that salvage because I will get there with exactly these dice and I won't have anything left in my active pool to spend on it. So I will not be doing that. I'm going to spin the 4 and we're going to say, bye-bye salvage. I've already got 2 of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I land right here. I've not been on that space yet. We're doing very well. I'm very happy. I'm going to lay my bathysphere down again. Oh, here's a problem though. I have a 1 left, and I can go on and re-roll early, or I can spend it and land on this space right here that I've already marked. So I'm gonna have to re-roll anyhow. So I'm either taking a stress and an oxygen loss, or I'm just taking an oxygen loss and hope I roll better to get past that stress point. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna re-roll now while I still have this in my active pool. So that's marking off an oxygen, and I'm re-rolling my dice pool. Okay. 2 4s, a 6, and a 1. Let's see where we get with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, do not like that. 5, 6 gets us in the whirlpool, and 1 lands us on that stress again. Let's take our chances with the whirlpool. We'll re-roll everything. This might be nuts, but I'm gonna spin the 6. We're gonna get into this whirlpool because we live for excitement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 3, 4 whirlpool space. So I'm gonna re-roll all these dice, and if any are 3s or 4s, I'm gonna lose 2 stress for each one. This could be very bad. 1, 4. Okay, that could be worse, but I am gonna take 2 stress for it because it matches that number. So, oh well. Should I get this salvage? Let's be reckless. I'm gonna spin this 5, and I'm gonna go 1, 2. I'm gonna take this intersection, 3, 4, 5. Now again, we don't know what this space does yet. That hasn't come up in any of our scenarios, so we're just gonna ignore it. I do have to activate this stress for passing over that gray space. And now I'm gonna spin the 1 to land on our wreckage here, and I'm gonna spin this 4 to get 4 points from it. Now I gotta boogie my way back out of this, y'all, because I'm marking off an oxygen to re-roll my dice, and I only have 1, 2, 3, I only have 4 oxygens left. Can I get out of here without landing on a space I've already marked? This starts to get tricky because I have a, look at this. This whole stretch is just, there's no way I'm gonna get through this without landing on a marked space and having to take stress. Like, that'll be a miracle. So I have 3s, 5, and 6. So I'm right here on this wreckage space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to see if there's any combination of numbers that saves me from landing on bad spaces. A 3 gets me here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think I can get out of it. Let's go 6 first. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an unmarked space. But now basically no matter what I do, I think I'm landing on something that's been marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I land on a space that's already been marked. I take a stress. Oh, that gives me a damage. It's okay, we're still at 4 dice, but 1 more damage and I'm down to 3, which I will remember to do this time. I'm gonna get snatched a little by this tentacle as well because I'm gonna spin this 3. 1, 2, 3. So I mark this off. I passed this tentacle, I did not land on it. So I mark off another one on the murky one. 2 more, we start to take a little stress because it's stressful when scary tentacles from the deep are coming after you. Now I have 1 more 3 and we're gonna be safe this time. So it's 1, 2, 3. So we land on a clear space. All right. Home stretch, y'all. Home stretch. Mark off an oxygen. We've already saved diver number 6, so we don't have to worry about them perishing from lack of oxygen right now. Let's re-roll these dice. And I have 1 re-roll left, so that could come in handy. Okay, 2 4s, a 3, and a 5. We just got to get out of here is the best way because the thing we're most at danger of losing from right now is oxygen. Can I get past this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is really bad. Yeah. All right. Use the 5. We're about to take some stress because we are in a hole. We're in a minefield of marked spaces right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stress for landing here. Okay, then we'll spin the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mark this off fully, but this was already marked, so we take stress for it. It's a little, no, are we gonna hit another whirlpool? Oh, goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 4 and just get through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is 5s and 6s. We re-roll this as our only active die. So our chances are good. If we roll a 5 and a 6, we take 2 stress. If we don't, we're in the clear. We're only rolling 1 die, so we might be okay. a 4. We're good. That is a relief. But now that's our 4 to use for our last movement here, which would land us right here. And I would like to avoid it. I'm going to use my last reroll. We're going to re-roll this and hope for a 3 or a 6 so we can land on a space where we aren't going to have to take a stress. A 5. That's not what I wanted at all. That is not a 3 or a 6. It's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a stress because we'd landed on that tentacle before. But it's okay. We're almost done. Oxygen. Let's go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, great. We're using the 6 and we're getting out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we did it. Let's count up our points. So we definitely got more than 2 salvages. We got 3. 1, 2, 3. So we've achieved that. So now we just want to count up our points and see how many we got and if there's any bonuses to go along with it. Okay, so here we are, count up our points. So we've got 6 from this salvage wreckage. We've got 4 from this one. We've got 3 from this one. We didn't get any ocean floor this time. We stayed pretty good with the murky one. And we rescued both divers this time. So that's 7 and 7. 27 total points. If you return with 3 or more salvages, that's us. And under 30 points, that's also us. We get to add +1 salvage and visit the Salvagerama. What's the Salvagerama? Oh, I'll tell you. So the Salvagerama is the way that the Harbor Master is going to help us upgrade our bathysphere through the rest of the game. So let's pull out our mini game sheet here one more time. I'm gonna mark our score here. It was 27 this time around. And we're gonna flip this over. This is the Salvagerama. We have a bunch of different upgrades that once you earn them, you have access to them for the entire rest of the game. You can choose in a scenario that you want to activate one of them and you lose a die from your dice pool and then you have access to this special power, which is pretty cool. You earn these by marking off the salvage in these different categories right here. Now you can only mark off salvage all in one row. It's not like the Aquaseum where you could split up where you put your fish in the different water tanks. Here you have to go all in at once. So we have 3. So look, we could immediately gain something. Let's just do this one because we could get something. So we mark these off. And now here's the gizmo we can gain to upgrade our bathysphere with. We can either get a cushy gyro seat, a containment tank, or a heat shield. Now let's see, the containment tank gives us extra tentacles to mark off with the murky one. The cushy seat lets us ignore whirlpool rules when you land on an unmarked whirlpool space. That's what I want, or the heat shield. This has to do with a volcanic heat vent, which we have not used yet. That's another surprise coming for you later in the campaign. So I don't know about it. I don't see its use. We are going to get the gyro seat. So I'm just going to circle that here to show that we've gotten it. And now at the beginning of the next scenario I play, I can say, I'm going to activate this, lose a die from my dice pool to balance things out, and now I have this special rule-breaking ability. So that's just a little bit of what you have in store for you if you play through the campaign of Bargain Basement Bathysphere. There's all kinds of fun surprises waiting for you in further scenarios in this campaign, but I'm going to leave those for you to discover on your own. Rodney's not the only one who can say it. But that's it, our Table for One episode of Bargain Basement Bathysphere. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning along with me as we played through scenarios 3 and 4 of this 20 scenario campaign. If you enjoy playthrough videos, make sure you check out Monique and Naveen's gameplay series that is right here on this channel, where they go head-to-head in 2-player games. Also, don't forget to check out our top 10 videos, Matthew Answers the Internet, his news segments, Cult of the News every other Friday, and of course all the tutorials that Rodney does on the channel. If you liked this video, go on and give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, now is the perfect time to do it, so hit that button and make sure you also hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I have a new episode ready for you. And until then, thanks for watching.